April 1st, garden update. Starting with tomatoes hanging from pots. They seem to be doing pretty well. This one I started in January, and it's already setting some fruit. Bunch of seedlings of tomatoes and some brassicas. A nice, large, tall lemon tree in a pot, and lots of tomatoes in pots. It's kind of my thing, peppers in pots. I really like that. Peas that have just been destroyed. And actually back here are some apple seedlings. But they got tore up by my chickens. Celery, one cabbage left that's really getting big. A whole bed of green beans. Next bed of eggplant and tomatoes coming up a diagonal trellis. That's gonna, I think, look nice. Potatoes, onions, some failed beets, just lots of good vegetables, peppers, banana peppers, getting nice and big. A small herb garden, cowpeas, some cauliflower, which we'll see if they can survive the heat, and then Andrew's garden. So a kind of overview of this garden. That direction's north, and because of this tree, I get a lot of shade up until maybe April's when we should be getting a lot more sun. Here are my chickens. Say hello. I have 8 hens in this chicken coop I built out of a crate from some California redwood. Hens laying eggs, and plenty of eggs for everyone to eat. Here's my compost chicken system. 75 bags of leaves. Last year I did more. And they turn it, they put their manure in it, and by the end of the season when we get a lot of rain, it composts down well, and I harvest it and I take it over to my garden. So river birch, hay for later. We'll see if that has some persistent herbicide in it, because that's the thing with hay these days. That will kill my garden plants, especially tomatoes. Small herb garden, a little bit of lemon, eucalyptus, oregano. And then over here we start with our fruit trees. We have an Anna apple tree. This is a fig. I don't know if it's a Black Mission. I think it's one of the Celeste that I got. That was given to me. Some muscadine grapes. Jumbo, which is a pollinator. To these, a nice garden arbor for the muscadine grapes to grow up on. This is another small apple tree. It's an Anna, barely leafing out. And then this is a nectarine that I trimmed when I got it. You can take a look. $1 nectarine. When I got it, this is all that was on the tree, and I cut it off, 2/3 of the tree, down to just this, and it's already putting on, in some places, upwards to a foot of growth. Same with this guy. This is a tropic snow peach. Same thing. Cut off 2/3 of the tree when I got it, and we're getting upwards to a foot of new growth. So this is backyard orchard culture. You keep trees close, you keep them trimmed low. You're going to keep them about the height of the fence, maybe a little bit higher, and we need them to be in a height where I can reach all the fruit. This is a golden Dorset apple tree. Both of these are low chill hour. They're leafing out. It's not the best looking tree, but I bent these down to encourage fruiting spurs. The branches that lower down more, the more fruiting spurs develop. So I should be able to get a lot of fruit on this. Kind of a nice little flower garden. A blackberry, another blackberry, raspberry, blueberry. By far the onions that did the best were these winter onions that I planted in the fall, and they went through the winter. Just look how large those are. Nice, big ones. And it's because they get light all day long throughout the winter. And that's really what did it for them. All the others failed. So nice little mailbox garden, making some use of it as well to plant onions. It's a bunch of citrus seedlings, a bunch of maybe grapefruit and lime and lemon. This is a clementine tree. Here's my seedling apples, looking pretty good. Some citrus, and then a line of pear seedlings. These are a month behind. But this one is kind of my prize apple seedling. We'll see if it gets large enough and becomes rigorous enough and also disease resistant enough to where I can graft onto it. It's kind of tough. This is a grapefruit tree along with 2 pear trees, Florida home. I got super cheap at Ace. They thought it was dead. Baldwin pear. So again here, these used to be 8 feet tall. I cut them down and they're leafing out. You know, this is not stemming very much. It's been 2 months like that. Whereas this, you know, it's been putting on a full foot of growth. So I think there's different temperaments to these trees where some will go straight for stemming, others will put out a set of leaves and then go for the branching. So that's the garden tour. Oh, I forgot onions, collards, pussy willow that came from cuttings from Trader Joe's, rooted them, blackberries that were in that blackberry in the back, and then this is elderberry. They were just in the sun, so they're not feeling too well. More cauliflower, peppers, tomatoes, kind of in a side garden along the walkway of my house, so kind of making use of every little space on this 1/4 acre. Haven't gotten cucumbers to grow for years, so we'll see if these get bacterial wilt or not, but we've got a couple forming, and Lord willing, we may get some cucumbers. But I'm very thankful for all the things that are growing quite well.